Chromecast. You're joining us for episode number 92 this week as we round up all of the Stadia and gaming news for your listening and viewing pleasure. You're joining myself, Chris, alongside my lovely co-host, the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie. Welcome back.
Team Wasabi now.
Just throw it straight in everybody's face who hasn't got a Wasabi controller. We have a great show lined up for everybody this week. We're going to be talking about some new Stadia releases and updates. All of the Chromecast stories that dropped this past week, because it's happened, folks. They didn't miss their date. They landed that plane just as they promised they would in half one. And we've got some first impressions and also some marketing beats that start as well. It's a very good episode lined up. Of course, we are here for the first time without the techie teacher himself, who's officially now gone on to paternity leave. If you didn't catch our show last week, Thomas went to, rightly so, spend some much-deserved time with his family-to-be, and he'll be back once he's kind of, I don't know what you'd say, got a grips of how everything is.
Yeah, he needs to go through his dadding tutorial. Once he's got through the tutorial levels of being a dad, then he'll... It's probably. I think it's largely about him finding, figuring out how his time's going to be managed and balanced and stuff.
100%. And we know
child comes before Stadia podcasts.
Child should become ahead of most things in life, but I know a lot of our listeners and viewers out there are parents themselves, so I'm sure I know lots of you sent Tom your love over on Twitter. Keep sending that way. He's probably going to need all the help he can get from what we've heard in the comment sections already. But yeah, he will be back with us at some point. We don't know when. We haven't put a time frame on it just because, again, we're not an official business. We're all just friends. So it seems a bit harsh to say, you need to be back in 2 weeks' time, like classic paternity leave. Which, by the way, all the dads out there, the paternity leave is shit. For a first time, well, any father, not just a first time father, to get 2 weeks.
Paternity leave is pretty bollocks as well. Paternity leave is worse.
Yeah.
It's meant to be getting better, but... what I want everyone to do is send a tweet at Tom after you listen to this episode, just with "I miss you," and that's at AdaxisLP.
Just "I miss you."
I miss you.
Yeah, go.
I just want to see what's going on.
Out of nowhere, all these tweets start coming in every week. We should actually do this every week. Tom's not here. Yeah. We should figure out a hashtag or something to send him, and obviously it'll start off nice and friendly, but then as time goes on,
hashtag I miss you.
Hashtag I miss you. You know what to do, listeners and viewers. But yeah, I think if we get a little bit weird and special with it as time goes on, and so every week systematically when people listen to this podcast on a Monday, Tom's just going to get berated with the most random shit and he's not going to, well, I mean, he'll know what, he should figure it out pretty quickly. But
he'll realise who's tweeting.
But until he returns, we can have a bit of fun with this, just like we will be doing on the podcast this very episode. Of course, don't forget to give the video a like if you're watching on youtube.com/Sounds of Stadia. Click that bell so you're kept in the loop with all things we do here, because we do a lot more than just a weekly Stadia and gaming podcast. We also have a Let's Play series that goes up every now and again. We do first looks, live streams. We have a SideQuest topical show where myself, Richie, and maybe even some guests in the near future talk about a slightly deeper off-subject topic. We explore the video game world in a bit more depth, and you can check that out. And if you do want to support the channel, me, Richie, Tom, and all of his family, his litter of children he's expecting, it's pretty sure it's just the one, right, Richie?
Yeah, he's just
it's just the one for now.
I think he'll get a big surprise if he gets more than one.
Yeah.
If he gets a full litter.
he may just... They're not even called litters. You don't refer to humans as litters, right?
No, because they only get one at a time.
But we will... of course, be playing some things in the future too. And if you do want SideQuest up to 6 days early, alongside an exclusive Stadia controller in the chat and access to our special super stickers, you can support us a little bit more by clicking join down below on the YouTube video, where from as little as 99p you get all of that lovely stuff. But more importantly, just give us a bit more support and helps us bring you better Stadia content. So, without further delay, Richie, let's get into the show. It's going to be a little bit different this week. It is quite light on the story front, we'll be honest with you out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a quiet week. All the news and energy has been funneled into Chromecast stories. So before we get into the news, Richie, I'd like to know what you've been up to this week. How have you been keeping? What have you been playing?
I've been continuing with Ace. I'm getting close to I'm over 50 hours now, getting close to that 60 mark, and the game's very much ramping towards the end. I feel like I reckon I'll be done before I hit 70 hours. So I might even get it done this weekend.
That's quite thin for a JRPG. Would you say 50,
Yeah,
50 to 70?
I think from 50 to 70 hours is a good length for a game.
Yes.
It's like, it doesn't feel like it's overstaying its welcome. It's when you start getting in the 100 plus hours, sometimes like, I've committed so much time, I need to see this through to the end, but please end. That's what I was like with Persona 5. And I didn't go for the platinum on that. I just played through the game. It took me over 120, 130 hours.
Just please end.
Yeah, it's like, brilliant game, but please end.
Before I move on to another JRPG, and that's I have to commit a whole other part of my life. Funny you should say actually about hours. That brings us to a special membership shout out to one fabled alpaca, or Simon, as you may know him as well. You asked Richie on last week's show how much content we've put out as a channel, and the crazy bastard himself actually went and did it. And he tallied up all of the statistics. So massive shout out to Fabled Alpaca. I know a lot of people in the community know him already. He tallied up 331 videos our channel's put out. Now 333, we think, because we did Borderlands live stream on Thursday.
We're not sure if SideQuest was involved in that.
Yeah, because
he is a member of the channel, so he might have done. But
exactly. So 331 videos, which totaled up to 19 days, 22 hours, and 46 minutes worth of content. In summary, 478 hours, which is just insane. I didn't realise I'd spent that much of my life playing and talking about Stadia, but there you go, nearly 500 hours, Richie, we've put in. So shout out to Simon.
Well, not only are we coming up to our 100th episode, we're coming up to a month worth of content.
Yeah, a straight month. Nearly 500 hours. That's insane. Just like you doing the maths out there. So thank you very much. I don't know where you found the patience to do that, but we do appreciate it. So just like a good JRPG, you could go back to episode 1 like a maniac and listen to all of that conversation.
Should we start bringing out DLC for our older episodes?
DLC, yeah. Sounds of Stadia podcast 1.1. We could just do Final Fantasy and just go crazy with it. We'll restrict some of it to a different platform. We'll charge more, but then give a big audience it for free, and then we'll just completely confuse people.
Well, that's basically what we do with SideQuest, actually. It's basically DLC to the main podcast.
In a way.
Access for 6 days.
In a way. But it does go free eventually. That is the thing.
Does, yeah.
It does. And it's a much shorter window than the Final Fantasy content does. That is true. But yeah, you mentioned you've been playing that, Richie, of course. We both jumped in and played Borderlands. We haven't played Borderlands for a good while. A good many couple of months. Probably over a year, actually, for me, certainly. But we hadn't played for so long, and there was a free weekend that dropped on Stadia, and they're also doing a Borderlands co-stream, which I don't think anyone's mentioned, but that was the thing that kind of got messed up a few months back, if you recall, where they were supposed to be doing a co-stream, and then nothing happened. Nobody from Borderlands or Stadia tweeted out until well after the fact saying, sorry, something happened, we weren't able to go ahead with the event. This seems to be that event.
Do you think the thing that happened was Resident Evil? Because it was around about the same time.
No, I just think it was probably a scheduling error, and they messed up on something. But I'm just going to have a quick check now, so we can get the date for people out there for when this co-stream is. Although I'm sure many of you probably played the free weekend. Borderlands 2K. There we go. 27th of June. So you've missed it at the time of listening. It happened at the weekend. 7 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. Pacific time. They're doing a co-stream, so we'll finally get to see, I guess, what that would look like. And it's good to see some partnerships actually just happening, I guess, in the public sector. Speaking of Stadia. And aside from Borderlands, great, had loads of fun. We jumped in with a couple of you from the community like we do every Thursday. And I've seen loads of people actually tweet out saying they've found a nice little niche bit of time to go back and enjoy Borderlands. Maybe give it a bit more love than it didn't originally get. Because we said whilst playing it that it came out November 2019, obviously, on Stadia. And it was in and amongst a lot of other big titles across multiple platforms. And Stadia was brand new. Yeah, Stadia was brand new. So we were trying to play everything all at once. And I think it did get kind of brushed under the carpet a little bit. So, great game. Beautiful art style. Obviously, we don't know whether we are getting Tiny Tina's Wonderlands yet, so this may be the only kind of Borderlands fix you might be getting for some time. Although, we should still point out that the pre-sequel and 1 and 2 got ratings for Stadia, if I'm remembering that right. Might have been was the pre-sequel.
I can't vaguely remember that.
It was ESRB rated so long ago. You doing a quick search in our doc to see?
I am. No, I'm actually just searching the ESRB's website.
I don't know. Do they hang around on the ESRB website? Or does stuff get just like pulled?
I think once it's up, it's up. Like things might get pulled if the things only get posted once they're rated. So
yeah, it's probably
there's no point of unrating it.
That is true. That's very true. Unless they've altered the core game a little bit, but I guess for an old game they wouldn't be messing around with that. So
on the ESRB, it's only Borderlands 3's rated.
Could have sworn it might have been one of the German or French or Australian boards or something. We don't know. Why would it be Australian? Stadia's not out in Australia yet. Somehow, still, that day will come. But while we wait for that, speaking of days that are coming, Richie, this Thursday we will be jumping into the fun-filled action world of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, which is dropping 30th of June. So again, at the time of listening, it'll be tomorrow, maybe Tuesday.
Yeah.
Come have fun. Come join in with us. We'll be hunting down some terrorists. We'll no doubt be trying to kill each other. Some teams online. Whatever that may look like. Myself, you, and Tom have been super hyped for this game that comes to Stadia. We've been asking for it for quite a while. This was a game that was rated a long, long time ago. And that went radio silent as well. So it's great to see that's finally coming out. Loads of fun if you've not played Rainbow Six Siege before. It's into its 6th year now. So it's clearly a game that's got legs. It's getting its next-gen port. So it's coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S as well. It ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And obviously we've got Extraction coming later in the year too. So check out the channel. Follow us so you're kept in the loop with that. And you can join in and play Siege with us this Thursday. Looking forward to it, Richie. Don't think it's going to be a pro game though, even though it drops at the end of this month, beginning of next month. I think we've said off camera that with it being a Ubisoft title, we've never had a Ubisoft game on pro. So
it might have a pro sale on it. We've seen that quite common with Ubisoft games, but we've never seen it come out pro, and we think that's just down to they want you to go onto Ubisoft Plus.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to have
give you games away for free when they've got their subscription service?
Do you want to hazard a guess to its cost then on launch? Just a rough ballpark figure.
Right. I haven't looked at what the cost is on other platforms, so this is completely off the top of my head. I'm thinking around about the £20 mark, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be overly expensive, although it depends what edition you get. I'm saying £20 for the base edition. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say £14.79.
Seems reasonable.
I thought you were going to say specific. Seems reasonable.
I was actually thinking the word specific.
Specific. But yes.
Let's have a look. Oh, I think you might be closer than me. I'm on Steam at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's currently $16.99 for the base version. Okay. It's got a 60% off sale.
Okay, interesting. So we shall see, I guess. It will not be long to wait until that one. I wouldn't actually also be surprised if it came as a free-to-play game, you know how we have with Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And PUBG? Is PUBG gone free-to-play?
I think if that was going to happen, I think we would have heard about that at E3. If they were going to push the whole game free-to-play.
Maybe, but that's more Stadia marketing beat rather than Ubisoft. I would think.
Yeah, but I think if it's gone free to play, it'll be free to play on all platforms.
Oh, yeah, I guess, it's not free to play everywhere. Well, yeah, true. We'll see anyway. We'll find out shortly. And join us again on Thursday to join us in on some of that crazy action. Right then, Richie, let's get into what I would usually hand over to Tom, which would be the rundown. We said off camera, you're going to take the reins of this. I'm going to let you introduce it. But for the first time ever, I want to go for it. We usually give it to our guest. Tom's not here for a while. You're obviously my lovely co-host. I'm going to hand it over to you, the baton over to you in the future episodes. But I never get to do this, folks. So
Chris, what's the next section?
Let's get into the super sexy Stadia story segment, aka the news.
The news.
Did I miss something? I felt like I missed special. Did I say special?
Maybe.
The super sexy special Stadia story segment, aka the news. And you know what? Because I said it, Richie, I didn't bring in the animation either, so let's do it again. The super sexy special. The news. There it is, ladies. There it is, folks. The news indeed. In all its glory. As we said, slightly condensed week this week. We're going to start with kind of like a big topic of the news, because Chromecast with us. Let's give it its proper name. No nicknames around here, Richie. It is Google Chromecast with... No, it's not. Chromecast. Is it Google Chromecast? Google Chromecast with Google TV. They need to sort that out. That's crazy. Just rebrand it as Chromecast. Yeah. You know what we're talking about.
It's the only Chromecast available now, isn't it?
From direct, yes. If it's third party, PC World, Currys, GameStop, I'm sure there's billions of them out there still to buy second hand or old stock, I guess.
Just call it... Just call it Chromecast.
Yeah, I've seen all the abbreviations. CCWGTV. Which sounds like a terrible news broadcasting company from Russia or something like that.
CCWGTV, bringing you the news.
Exactly. And like I said, this is going to be like main topic to start things off. Chromecast with TV. It's available now. And I guess we kind of want to start. Richie, you have one of these sticks, these magical sticks that go in the back of your TV. I
have the nice blue one.
The nice blue. Does it have a fancy Google name?
It does. I can't remember what it is.
Majestic blue, clear sky blue, okay blue.
It's all my
quickly type. And I kind of guess we just want to start off by first impressions. So that you preloaded the app before its official launch.
Yeah, I didn't. I've never sideloaded it, so it was literally just the day before people found out you could actually preload the app. Mm-hmm. So I just did.
And of course, that's just straight into the App Store within the device itself, and there was Stadia. Did you have to type search for Stadia, or was it front and center? It wasn't out yet, though.
I did, but it wasn't out, so I can't say if it. I'd imagine now if you go on, it should be just right there for you.
Mm-hmm. And
it's sky blue.
Sky blue. Also, it was just
all that
sky blue. Not in the UK at the moment. It's certainly not sky blue. It's grey and dingy and dark.
Google, if you listen, I wouldn't be against a sky blue Stadia controller.
Yeah,
it's a nice blue.
Well, that brings us into one of our subjects as well regarding this story. So, but first things first, Richie. How are you finding the new Chromecast with Stadia now up and running on it? Interface-wise, I know they've not changed it much, but give us your first impressions of navigation and such. Right. What's it missing as well? I'd like to know what it's missing.
The only difference, really, between this and the Google, the Chromecast Ultra is because you're loading it up through an app, it has a little Stadia icon that loads up before you get into the app properly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That is literally the only difference.
Okay.
It is still missing the store, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. Now you've said now everyone who has one of these plugged into the TV has access to Stadia, and you can't buy games on it.
Yeah, you still have to buy the games through the app.
I never understood why the store wasn't on the Chromecast, to be honest, because what you want people to be able to do is buy games. If you can play the games there, you should be able to buy the games there. That shouldn't be a difficult thing. Like that, I think that's kind of inexcusable. But this is exactly what I was expecting, to be honest. I was expecting just the Chromecast experience on the new device.
Just transferred over.
No changes, yeah. You can use your remote to navigate the menu.
Oh, that's quite decent, yeah. So you can ideally scroll...
You need a controller to play the games, so...
Brilliant. So I guess follow up to that then. So it's essentially the same interface we're familiar with, just ported across to the new Chromecast, which I'm not surprised. I can't say we're expecting anything big. I think
some people were, but
I think
wasn't.
An entire refresh look will probably come further down the line. I do believe we'll see a storefront at some point. It's just, again, integration. And we know how they like to do things. It's just slow and steady, little bits.
Yeah, it's slow and steady, but this is one of the ones that's like, you're not making it easy for people to buy the games. Like, make it easy for people to buy the games.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the journey that somebody would go through now, because we'll get onto it in a moment, but like the marketing side of this is huge. It's huge news for Stadia that they're now front and centre in 80 million plus households using the old ones and any new ones that get sold. But if I've never played Stadia before and I see a promo pop up on my new Chromecast, and then I go, okay, let's see what this is, click to play, it's going to download the Stadia app onto my Chromecast, but then from there, I'm now going to have to get my phone out and download the Stadia app to sign up on my phone note, because I can't imagine that sign-up process is done through the TV.
Yeah, for me, I don't know, because I already have a Stadia account. I don't know if you can sign up from TV. but I'm assuming no, because I don't think you could when Stadia first launched.
Yeah.
And we certainly haven't covered that news if it's ever changed. So
yeah, it's one of them weird catch-22 scenarios where, because we're all Stadia owners, we're already logged in. I think
it's a bit odd. It's like, for me, I get the arguments. Oh yeah, you got your phone right there. It's probably in your pocket or on the coffee table in front of you. You can just pick up your phone and do it. But you should be able to do everything that the platform offers through the platform itself.
Yeah. Well, a good point of that is, I don't know how you approach things, Richie, and our audience. I'd love to know if you do this. It's like a little thing I do when I'm playing a game on a weekend and I'm staying up a little bit later than I probably should, and I'm chipping away. Once I've finished things and I decide I'm going to go to bed now, it's way past the relevant hours. I close the game down usually, and then I always have a look in the store. It's kind of like one of these routine things. I always have a click on my PlayStation. I do it all the time. I have a look over to the store app. I see what deals are kicking around. I have a look at some of the latest offers, and occasionally I have bought things, whether I'm just delusional and sleep deprived, or I'm taking a moment away from the game to have a look. Whereas with Stadia, I don't really get that. I don't really browse the store because we're so in tune with it. I know what's coming out anyway.
I know where you're coming from. I don't do that with games because I tend to have, okay, this is the game I'm going to play, then I'll play for a ridiculous length of time, and then I'll buy the next game.
Yeah.
Which I then usually have a good idea what the next game's going to be before I've even finished the last one. So, and then because we have a Stadia podcast, I'm pretty tuned into when the sales and stuff are happening on Stadia anyway. So, but I do it with things like YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, all right, one last video before I go there, watch it, and then I'll just make sure I've got everything on my subs list I want to watch in my watch later list.
Yeah.
And then you're scrolling through the homepage for a bit, and then like an hour later, you're like, I'm going to go to bed now.
Yeah. And this is where it all comes full circle to marketing. If I have to leave one device to then open up an app on another device, it's splitting my attention. And I honestly believe the risk there is if I then have to leave my television and my controller to open my phone, I'm being hit with Facebook, Snapchat, BBC News, sport, friends, family, messages, texts, things like that. And very, very quickly, you potentially risk losing some of your audience or your captured moment in time almost.
I've just realised something we haven't touched on. When I got my new Wasabi controller, I can use my phone to connect it to my Wi-Fi. I should have taken that opportunity to see if I could connect it to my Wi-Fi through my Chromecast. Because I don't think you can. I think you have to use your phone.
Yeah. Well, that brings me on to another question for you, Mr. New Controller, Mr. New Chromecast with TV. I have ordered one. I will point that out. They're on offer currently on the UK store. They're £10 less.
Yeah.
So I ordered one in the hope that I'll get a 50% discount code to buy a Wasabi controller. Because I feel left out now. Tom's got one, right? You've got one now.
Yeah, I think Tom has. Does Tom have the full set, or is it just the black one he hasn't got?
I think he might be missing the black one still. But he's also got a 50% discount right now, so you might be tempted in.
Yeah, that's it. Because it was actually Tom who gave me the tip off. Because I saw the email come through. For it's just I saw the email come through from Google. Like, it's just an update. Let me know I can now play Stadia on this thing, which I already knew about. So I didn't actually read the email. And Tom in our WhatsApp group went, "By the way, Richie, there's a 50% off code in that. That's why I've got my Wasabi controller."
Yeah, it's an interesting one. But yeah, loads of marketing.
That was a very much impulse purchase. It's like, I now have more controllers than hands. Well, to be fair, I've got 4 Stadia controllers. I live on my own.
I mean, you could have 5 hands for all we know.
Yeah.
You could be like, what's his name from Greasy Money from Jedi Fallen Order. Should have another extra 2 under there.
So I didn't need the Wasabi controller. I just wanted it.
Yeah. It's for want, not need. But
now I need the black one.
Now you can play Stadia, though, with Bluetooth supported controllers. PlayStation 4, DualSense, the Xbox controller. I don't think the... sorry, I said DualSense, DualShock. So yeah, that's a challenge for you, Richie, to go away and see how your PS4 or if the PS5 controller works, because it's now Bluetooth compatible.
I'm not going to do it now, but
I was going to say, you leaned over and I was like, don't do it now, we're in the middle of a recording. But yeah, so that was one element of this kind of big workaround story. Another one I wanted to kind of bring in full circle, I know Clive Illenden found over on Twitter, is that a couple of like little niche nice features. So you can launch a game using the assistant from your remote. You can hold it in and say the magic words and say play Destiny.
I've even done it from a Google Home. I've got a Google Nest Home in my living room, and I have literally walked in my living room and told it to launch Borderlands, and it worked.
Wonderful. So that's a great feature. On the flip side of that, have you noticed the assistant button on your controller doesn't work by proxy of this?
No, because I forgot that button even existed.
A lot of people do. It's kind of like the Bixby button on a Samsung phone. It's there, you hate it, but it exists still. So apparently on the new Chromecast, the assistant button, if you press it on whilst you're playing on the Chromecast on the TV, it tells you to use the assistant button on the remote control.
Okay.
Which is an odd... I'm guessing there's some kind of overlap where...
Well, actually, I did notice when I logged out of Stadia that a message came up saying that I can't use my controller in the main Google TV area.
Oh, your Stadia controller.
Remote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that's something I think they should upgrade.
Yeah, that would be cool to navigate around.
Yeah, just let me use my Stadia controller for the whole process.
Yeah, because I guess...
Just a nice little bit extra integration. It's not necessary, but...
It just makes the whole thing smoother.
Yeah.
Whatever you have in your hand works.
If I'm playing a game, then I decide I want to watch Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got this thing that's should be perfectly capable of controlling it in my hand anyway.
Yeah, it's got all the.
I have a Sony TV, and my Sony TV remote can control this.
Yeah, so.
But that's gone through the TV processing stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, something there.
I think about Google.
Definitely. And again, there's lots of room for improvement, as with most things. In terms of the actual banner for it, Stadia doesn't feature predominantly on those tabs across the top, which we've said definitely has to become a thing, where it's got TV, it's got For You, TV, movies. Up there should definitely just say games. Or Stadia, more specifically. If they can implement that, that's marketing.
At the moment, it's under the app section, but I think they should just put a Stadia section separate to it, because it's a little thing, but it draws people to it. Yeah,
it's just out of curiosity, it will bring more people in. But what we did see again from these, I think Chrome Unboxed had an article on it. Destiny 2 advertised on the main, as like a main banner promotion. Which brings me on to kind of the subject matter of this whole piece, which is, are Stadia, Richie, finally doing a big marketing push? Now this is out in the wild and it's on all these Chromecast devices. We're now seeing promos across Borderlands, we've already touched on. They've finally got that up and running. We're seeing it on people's televisions. We're seeing their Twitter account is on fire right now with just promotions, and I think they put out about 3 or 4 tweets over this weekend alone about DLC, gaming sessions, promotions, advertisements, trailers. We got a trailer for the Avatar Pandora, Frontiers of Pandora over the weekend out of nowhere. It just feels like there's a change in the wind a little bit now, where now E3's gone, ironically enough, now is when they're going to start to drive this home. What do you think?
It's possible, but we've had a couple of false dawns like this before, where they've gone through periods where suddenly there seems to be a lot happening and then it quietens off. I do think actually Destiny is such a good idea for a banner, right? Rather than saying Stadia, you use Destiny.
The game.
I can play Destiny in this thing. Everyone knows Destiny, and it's free to play.
Yeah.
It's free to play even without Stadia Pro. So all you have to do is get your hands on a compatible controller and you can jump in.
Yeah.
That's a good selling point to draw people in. It's like games of that tier being free to play on this device you already own. Oh, I can just pick up a new controller. Oh, wait, I can pick up a controller for 50% off. Mm-hmm. So I've bought this Chromecast. Let's say not me. I bought this Chromecast because I wanted a new Chromecast.
Yeah.
So to play Destiny, it's going to cost me £30 for a controller.
Indeed, and this is the hook that we've mentioned time and time again in the podcast. Little Timmy sat there, mum or dad or whoever's got one. You've got one for free. It's a promotion. It came with your Sky or your Virgin TV box, and you just have a Chromecast now. Whatever promo you've got it through.
If you don't have one, I'll sell you one. I've got plenty.
You'd be like, out the ears. But essentially, little Timmy's going through. He's watching his what is it on the picture? It's like Hulk and the Monster Dwellers or whatever Disney Plus show that is or something. And you're scrolling along, and all of a sudden it says Destiny 2 play on Stadia. And out of curiosity, clicks the link, and it says either use a Stadia controller or use your DualShock or a compatible controller. We'll just say.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, little Timmy goes to his mum or dad, mother, father, Tom, and says, Daddy Tom, how can I play Stadia now? And then the parent doesn't need to buy an expensive console. And all of a sudden it dawns on them that their kid can play big, huge titles like Destiny 2, Cyberpunk, Valhalla, all these other things on their TV with the equipment they already have. And this is the dream we've been talking about since episode 1, Richie. And they haven't really marketed it. And I think you're 100% right there in saying, instead of putting Stadia front and centre, put the games front and centre. Let them talk for themselves. Yeah. Destiny 2 is a great one.
So maybe going back to what you said about having the section where instead of having it hidden away in the app section, just having a games section in there. Because then people will just click on games, where people might just see Stadia and dismiss it.
Yeah.
That's the reality, I think, with where Stadia is at this point. I don't think it has the credibility or recognition. But if you just have a games tab, someone might just click in it and see what it's all about, then see things like Destiny 2, Borderlands, Rainbow Six Siege, FIFA, Madden, Hello Engineer.
Well, that's it, isn't it? The reality is, people will. I guarantee you, more people have heard of Destiny than they have Stadia at this point, which is unfortunate, but it's true.
I think it's a safe bet that more people play Destiny actively than it is people who play Stadia. Full stop.
That is a horrible statistic to say out loud, but yes, I also think that's probably right as well. But yeah, if this is a rotating banner of Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk, Valhalla, Ubisoft Plus promo, there's just so much bigger marketing promos you could just have in rotation.
And when you go into that section, you've got all these games. You just scroll down through your game, and then it opens up in Stadia, so people are using Stadia without even realising.
Maybe.
Or it takes you to the Stadia store page when you go, I want to play Cyberpunk. It takes you to the Stadia store. You can buy it.
Buy it right now. So, huge moves, potentially. I guess, you're totally right, Richie. This could be a false dawn, but maybe.
Yeah, there's such room for improvement with the Chromecast, with Google TV, in terms of Stadia integration. I just hope they don't take another 2 years to do it.
You and me both.
Yeah.
In and amongst this, we should also point out that there has also been a new Stadia controller and Chromecast bundle. So if you go over to Stadia, the Google website, store.google.com right now, and have a look, there is a new image, which is essentially just a Premier controller stacked up against the white Chromecast with TV.
Yeah.
I'm curious if anyone out there has ordered this by now. Do let us know in the comments section. Is this just a standalone box with a Premier controller and then a Chromecast with TV separate, or is this a brand new package that we're seing? I'd love to know.
I suspect it's a brand new package because Google's packaging is actually pretty slick. When I open my Wasabi controller, even the cardboard box it came in, as it folds out like such a nice fold, and it's actually got Stadia logos and printed on it. So that's the level of the effort they go into the packaging. So just slamming two boxes together, you can actually see the two boxes there. There's the Chromecast Ultra, the Google TV, and that's actually the Wasabi one there. The one below it is a Premier edition.
Right.
So you see the size difference is much. It's just a bit thicker. So I don't see why they wouldn't.
Interesting. No doubt we'll find out once they're out in the wild. It probably is about time to start to sunset the Premier Edition bundles now. They come with old hardware in the Ultra.
Yeah.
And it's been nearly 2 years.
I've strongly suspect the reason the delay for Google TV Chromecast Ultra was to get down the levels of stock of the Premier Edition.
Yeah.
Which I think was a bad idea. Because all them people buying this new fancy hardware, when you get new hardware like a new Chromecast stick, that's when you're going to play around. That's when you're going to click through the settings and the tabs and stuff that you wouldn't usually, and then you just get set in your ways.
Yeah.
So they've probably missed potential people playing around, jumping into what's the Stadia app at that point.
I mean, they have also tried to give them away with titles like Cyberpunk and Resident Evil en masse across the globe as well.
I think them promotions have come up are just wanting to shift stock.
But we should also point out this bundle does currently come with 25% off. So at UK prices, it is £118.99 down to £104.24 right now. Although off camera, Richie, beforehand, I did suggest, as an individual who's just bought the new Chromecast with £10 off, so I've bought it for just under £50. If that comes this week, and then I get an email saying I get 50% off a controller like you and Tom did, I could get the new Chromecast for £50. Your controller came in at how much with the discount?
30. Just under 30.
So
like $29.95.
So for £80, I could get the exact same bundle than this 118 on here. If that's relying on an email promo coming through, though. So
that bundle seems a bit pricey. That's more expensive than the Premier Edition bundle, isn't it? Wasn't the Premier Edition bundle like $89?
Oh, I have no clue now. There's that much change is so regular. It's hard to keep up with.
I feel like that pricing should be sub 100.
Yeah, 99.99.
Yeah, 99.99 without sales. I think that's where I would have aimed for. Because because when you're paying like an extra £30-40 for probably something that if you're not a gamer may not want, it's maybe a bit steep. But if it's like only an extra 10-15, you might be more inclined to, and then you get more customers.
Yeah.
You make your money back on the game sales rather than the hardware.
Yeah, we shall see that. So, off the back of all that, I guess also the news, which we've covered already, is that there is 50% codes out there. So, just like Richie did, double check, ladies and gentlemen, if you have recently purchased a new Chromecast stick, check your emails, check your spam, because there may be a 50% discount code, so you could treat yourself to a Wasabi controller or the pure black controller. Let's show the pure black one some love. Pure thing doesn't get the love it deserves, because everyone loves that Wasabi.
Well, Tom's bought one, we believe. Oh, Tom said he was going to buy one.
About to buy one, but yeah, $34.50 with the discount code if you're living stateside. Not sure what the Canadian dollar price is, but it's half price. So fill your boots if you've got that code, and if you've got a code and you don't intend to use it, show the community some love. Tweet your code out. Let someone else get it, rather than it go to waste.
Video, first come first serve.
Yeah, drop it in there. Send your boy Chris one if you want. I'll pick up a Wasabi controller for half price.
If I didn't impulse buy the Wasabi controller, I might have just offered the code to you.
I might just pester Tom actually, and just if he hasn't bought already, just be like, oh mate, you should really spend your money on your children. You shouldn't be buying extra controllers willy nilly when you don't need them. Tell you what, give it to me. I'll take this discount code off your hand.
I'll take away the temptation.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm good for. But that kind of brings us, I think, to a close in our Chromecast. It's great, Chromecast story. It's great that it's out. I'm looking forward to getting mine and having a play around with the controller. Remember, Richie, your homework for this week is to go away and try and hook up one of your old compatible controllers, PlayStation, Xbox. You don't have an Xbox One yet. Switch. Check out your Switch one for me. Check out your PS5 DualSense.
I don't actually have a Switch.
Oh, do you not?
Pro contract. No.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
I don't know. Check out your GameCube controller you've got kicking around. Make it interesting. What you have to do is get the wire. I thought you did. Do you have an N64 controller?
I've got N64.
That's what I'm thinking. Take the wire.
SideQuest and all the controllers we have.
Take the wire, Richie. Wrap it around the Chromecast Ultra. Put it in a bin. Say an incantation spell. Something to do with Yoshi, Mario, something like that in the cloud, and then run around like a rabbit from the Rabbids game, and it might just work. That's your homework for the week. Are you up to the challenge?
I'll test out the DualShock.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair
probably
enough.
The DualSense. I might try the DualSense as well.
That's fair enough. Moving on then, ladies and gentlemen. Second story of the week is off the back of our live stream the other day. We should also point out that Borderlands 3 has crossplay available to it now. We got an exciting tweet that came out from the official Borderlands Twitter account introducing the return of the cartels, a level cap increase, different events that are going to start showing up on the home screen page, and more importantly, Xbox, PC, Mac, and Stadia crossplay, ladies and gentlemen. The world of Borderlands and Pandora has now opened up for everybody to play wherever they want to play. I'd imagine for lots of you viewers and listeners out there, Stadia is your go-to version of choice. Richie, we didn't obviously do any crossplay because we played with our little community, but this is a big move. They promised it very, very early doors. It has took them a while to bring it across, but it's great to see. It's great to see. And
I need to message my brother about that because he bought Borderlands 3 on PC. I bought it on Stadia. And we always planned to play. We did plan to play together, but we couldn't. And now it's out.
I actually think I remember you having a conversation about your brother because you two played through the entirety of 1 and 2 in years gone by.
3 sequel, yeah.
So that's kind of like a family tradition with you two now. So I've got this vague memory of you saying that you did want to play it with your brother when it launched way back in November 2019, and you just never got around to it.
Well, couldn't.
I
chose to buy. At the time, my PC was absolutely. It's actually still in the room, so over there, it's what my PS4 sat on. It's now just a tower to sit things on. But it was garbage. is absolute trash, and he couldn't run the game. So I bought the game on Stadia because I wasn't planning to buy a new PC at the time, which I did eventually buy. Just that.
Good stuff.
But yeah, that was always the plan. And with it being announced that it was going to be crossplay, I thought, oh, cool, I can play with James anyway. But then it never came, and I completely moved on from Borderlands. Completely forgot it existed.
Yeah.
But
Oh well,
yeah.
now you have that opportunity. So just to give a bit of a clear breakdown as well, it is Revenge of the Cartels, Revengeance of Revenge of the Cartels, I should say, on the Stadia Source article. Good friends over at Stadia Source. Go check out their website if you want to be kept in the loop with all the news and reviews. Bring the Fight, round 2 against Jory Ultraviolet and his gangs. So it seems like it's just a seasonal content piece. Crossplay, like I said, it does use the shift matchmaking, which I guess is Gearbox's just version of what's it called? Where it keeps everything together, nice and neat.
Oh, Ubisoft Connect.
Yeah, you've got like a separate
EA Origins.
Yeah, that's like a sub account thing. Level cap.
It makes sense having this external account to sync all the different platforms.
Yeah,
so
it's probably how they make it run. Level cap is increased to 72, and we said there's like plenty of seasonal stuff as well. There's loads of other bug fixes, add-ons, and patches, and quite frequently we do get discounts on the Borderlands DLC. We should point out as well, all the Moxie stuff. And what else do we have? They all have such wacky names. It's hard to keep up with what the DLC was called. Yeah. But what a great time to jump in. Like I said, we had loads of fun over the past couple of days. I've played a little bit more since, just on my own, in between FIFA sessions, because of course the Euros are on right now. So I'm a bit football mad for watching all that and chipping away at little FIFA games left, right, and centre. But essentially, yeah, Borderlands 3 crossplay. Hopefully this sets the precedence for just future games to have it day and date. We know Destiny's a big one. I think Outriders is still getting a bit of flack. It's finally got an update, Outriders, but it still doesn't have the promised crossplay, which I think a lot of people were expecting at launch for that one. I've seen a couple of people getting refunds over the weekend.
Yeah, we're still kind of in the early phases of crossplay, I think, where it's certain publishers and certain titles are willing to push it, where others... they like it in concept, but then haven't really put the effort into yet, and certainly just try to get out of it.
Exactly. Right then. So aside from all the Borderlands stuff to drop, great story, great news. We did get an update on one of the games. Hello Engineer is available now in early access. So as part of the community blog this week, we got a confirmation of Madden NFL 22 coming a day and date to Stadia, which we gushed about over last week on the podcast. Yes, Hello Engineer is here with Stadia, I was going to say then. So reading from the blog, it's time to start playing the all-new bombastic, build-tastic Hello Engineer, a multiplayer construction game in the Hello Neighbour universe. It's available right now in early access and ready to play first on Stadia. So we've not had one of these for a while, a first on Stadia game. It's the only place you can play at Hello Engineer today, so grab it now and start building instantly. Create incredible machines out of the old rides, because it's in a theme park. Make your wildest engineering ideas come true. Sneak into the abandoned amusement park built by Mr. Peterson from Hello Neighbour, of course, the titular central character to this connected universe of Hello Neighbour. Use State Share, of course, which is the feature where you're able to save your file and share the link with somebody, and they can jump in, just like Pixel Junk Raiders was. You can jump in and basically take over their game where they left off using their resources and stuff. And I've seen things online where you can share with people, say, beat my best time. So, Richie, I'll throw it over to you. It is an early access for $20 US. I think it's £20 as well, actually. That shitty exchange rate getting us again. Hello Engineer Universe. We've played a little bit of it. We've played Hello Neighbour in the past. We had quite a lot of fun, actually, off camera with some of our friends playing it before.
I mean, it had problems with matchmaking.
Oh, yeah, massive problems with matchmaking. Yeah. But this is so...
It's actually why we didn't do a stream on it.
Yeah, it's hard to arrange, isn't it? Sort out. So this building game, I still don't really know what to make of it.
I don't know. It seems like a cooler concept than any of the other Hello Neighbour stuff, to be honest. Because the Hello Neighbour as a franchise, I think it's almost mad to say that Hello Neighbour is a franchise.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really looked at the game and gone, oh, that looks like a fantastic game. This seems like a bit more to it, but I don't think I'm going to be jumping in for like £20 when it's early access, to be honest.
Same.
It feels like a pro game I wouldn't mind messing around with.
Yeah, exactly the same. What do we think of the state share implementation? Does it seem like an odd choice to have state share?
No, I kind of get it. I mean, the way they're doing it is like, basically you can use like challenge over people that do certain things, like beat my time, that sort of stuff. Could be good. We know the Hello Neighbor team and Stadia seem to get on, which is why we're getting pretty much them all. And we're getting this as early access, so it seems to be there must be it seems to be a good fit, to be honest. But
yeah, there must be a reason in the madness. I don't know if he hunts you down in the theme park, because I kind of take the Hello Neighbor gameplay and drop it into a creepy theme park. Sounds like it could be really interesting. Building roller coasters using parts with it looks like quite an elaborate building mechanic setup as well. It doesn't look like it's like Lego blocks. It looks like you can make like vehicles and actually connect like brakes and an engine and other stuff to it.
Yeah, I don't know whether you're trying to escape the theme park and you have to build some weird contraptions to get out, because that could be a really cool idea where you're avoiding like Mr. Peterson, and you're scavenging for parts to make yourself like a little car or. Weirdly, my mind went straight to build a catapult, launch yourself over the fence.
Yeah, because gravity wouldn't hurt after that.
Yeah, well, that's a small flaw in the plan.
But yeah, in terms of the game, it's not really one that's on my radar. £20 for early access is cheap. I'd actually argue Pro seems like it would have been a better choice. Like maybe free for Pro for early access starting in July,
and then state share. That could be a nice way to get more people in. It's like,
with a bit of unique feature.
A Pro, you get access to state share, and you can use the Stadia community to actually do it. But I think for £20, I think a lot of people will look at it and just walk on by.
Walk on by, indeed. Just like we will walk on to our next story from that one. So check out Hello Engineer. It's available now. Go play it if you so indeed intend. Next story, Richie. It's a bit of a conspiracy one, but we love a bit of tinfoil hat moments around here. Reports are coming in ahead of EA Play next month, which we will be covering on the 22nd of July, I believe it is. We'll sit down and watch along and see what we're going to see, because we know there's EA games. There's still that one mysterious EA game that will be eluding us. But the rumor is Dead Space is going to get a revival. So the team that worked on Star Wars Squadrons, the well-reviewed game that came out last year, which is EA Motive, that studio, they've mentioned that they're working on a revival of an established fan favourite IP. So that's according to comments made from GamesBeat. And yeah, he's essentially, Jeff Grubb over there has tweeted out as well, so EA plans to announce the project at an upcoming EA Play event in just a few weeks' time, so act surprised. What could it be? We're going to see it if we're not dead first, was the tweet.
Yeah, it's Dead Space, isn't it? The thing. Dead Space is a weird one where, as the series went on, it became more actiony, so they actually lost the hardcore fans, and I don't think it's sold as well as EA would like. But it was the first two at least were really quite critically acclaimed games.
Yeah, I've only ever played a little bit of Dead Space 2, and I have a really distinct story of one of our friends. It was free on PlayStation Plus many, many years ago, and we were around his house, we're chilling out, and we decided, we'll play it because it was free. Jumped in together. The first part, I'm sure it was Dead Space 2, takes place on like a spaceship. There was an alien spider, came out of somebody's body, scared the shit out of us, very much Resident Evil style. And I think I popped to the toilet, and when I got back, it was deleted from the console, and we were just under the impression he was going, nope, not playing that, too scary, I'm out. But I think horror games, especially like this like creepy, eerie style, has seen such a resurgence in the last couple of years with Resident Evil's change of direction and games like Outlast and such. Yeah, it's becoming a kind of like a genre unto itself again.
The thing is, it's a niche, but it's a solid niche. I almost equate to like something like racing games where a lot of people don't play them, but there is a very vocal community that love them. So it's like, but with Dead Space, it came at a time where the survival horror genre was getting like almost just removed. Everything was turned into action horror rather than survival horror. Like Resident Evil went through the same thing, and the sales tumbled.
Yeah, 6.
I think EA just pulled the plug on the franchise.
Plus, they've done 3, so 3 is a good number to kind of end things on for the most part.
Yeah,
But
But it could have been it could keep going, and like as long as they return, I think, to the survival horror roots with action elements.
Yeah.
And I think it could be a fantastic
yeah,
game.
EA are making some good moves actually. If we look at Dead Space in itself hasn't had a game since 2013, so we are coming up on a decade of nothing. So it's almost got that nostalgia flavour comes with this, similar to kind of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition in a way. In terms of things like co-op and stuff, it had co-op added in, I think, in Dead Space 3, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's essentially Resident Evil in space, which is such a cool concept.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi survival horror. The only other one that comes to mind for me is Alien Isolation.
Yeah, that was another great one, wasn't it?
So it's like there's a niche there. EA don't really have a survival horror game. You've got a cool franchise, you've got a cool IP.
Yeah,
do it.
And
I think EA need to be realistic on the expectations. It's not going to sell like a Call of Duty.
I don't think many things EA do sell that much. I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, I think sometimes they think they should though.
But
I think sometimes they get their head for something like FIFA, and then when something like Dead Space does good numbers but not good enough. But I think EA have moved on from that a bit.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point to come on to, the fact that EA get a lot of shit. They get voted like worst company for even there's a million worse companies than EA out there every other year. But they're almost seeing like a resurgence, similar to how Ubisoft kind of righted the ship a few years back as well, where we've got FIFA still like the sports games do their own thing. We just have to accept that. Like it makes them so much money, but I feel like with Jedi Fallen Order doing so well, and no doubt there's going to be a sequel greenlit, single player. Apex Legends came out of nowhere, done so well. They had recently the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which has sold gangbusters. I think it's almost like rekindles people's love for that franchise. And I've even seen articles this weekend about people going back to Andromeda through a different lens and actually having played 1, 2, and 3 again, then moving to... They're almost getting a new refound appreciation for Andromeda in hindsight.
I think Andromeda may have been a victim of hype.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't quite the game that people liked after, so they decided it was terrible.
Yeah, I agree. And then we got, of course, It Takes Two, which is sold like 2-3 million or something by now. And yeah, I actually would look forward to a new Dead Space. I actually would be very open to playing a Dead Space Legendary Edition with all 3 of the originals to kind of test the water with a new game in development.
About 10 years old, bring out a Legendary Edition, make sure the audio's balanced properly, because it's pretty inexcusable in Mass Effect. But for survival horror, you need that to be on point. You absolutely need it to be on point. But yeah, do it. Bring out 1, 2, 3, port it over while you're working on the 4. And it's the perfect combination. You go, Dead Space 1, 2, and 3 is getting remastered. And then you can see at the EA Play to open with you can just open and close with Dead Space. You open with like the remasters and close with the announcement of Dead Space 4. So everyone's like, "Hey, we're getting Dead Space remaster." Like, one more thing.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
The Dead Space 4 logo comes up.
And of course, we would like to see that come to Stadia, along with the Mass Effect games originally. But we'll have to find out and see. I'm not sure what Tom's history is with Dead Space, but it's one that I know is
played more than us.
Yeah, it seems like one of those things that I would definitely have experience with. But in terms of the actual game, it's a little tidbit news. We'll obviously find a bit more close to the time. I'm very interested to see if it is Dead Space 4 or it is just kind of like a total reboot, or we'll find out. So not long to wait now. Although it does seem so far detached from E3. I can't remember. Is it part of E3 or is it part of Summer Games Fest?
I think E3's over, so it's part of Summer Games Fest.
Okay, it just keeps going.
But, yeah.
Moving on to our next story of the week as well, then we have Farming Simulator 2022 did get a release date. It's coming out on November 22nd. So just a little snippet of a news story there. I actually saw, or what did I see? The trailer. It's very hard to promote a farming game, I think, because people of the franchise who love it, they know what to expect. It's just going to be graphically improved, I guess, with maybe a few more requested features.
New maps, new tractors, better graphics. It's the kind of thing what you'd expect from a sports game. We're just going to update the rosters.
Yeah.
give a bit of a polish, and then release it. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I am more intrigued by this one, actually. I've just finished watching Clarkson's Farm on Amazon Prime, and I have a newfound respect for the livelihood of a farmer. The pain and effort and toil that goes into producing just food for us fellow humans. It's crazy. I wouldn't do it for a living. No way. It's far too much work.
I'm surprised Jeremy Clarkson is.
I mean, he made a show out of it, but it was, it's very humbling to see all the stuff and the costs that go into it, just for the machinery and the seed and everything alone. But yeah, not really in my wheelhouse. I know there's an audience for these simulator style games, but at least we have a date now.
We had fun with, was it 2020?
2020, yeah, because they didn't make it.
Our first ever stream.
Yeah, our first ever stream is available now to check out. So that was one of them. Another game update we had for this week was, of course, the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. A year later, not their fault. It was because of other things going on in the world. Remember, you can play as Sonic in this game. The first time Sonic...
You can play as the guy dressed up as Sonic.
You can. You can do anything. So the Olympic Games are here. How are you with the Olympics, Richie? Do you pay much attention to them, or do you just kind of hope Great Britain does well in them, or...
Yeah, I don't really pay that much attention. I like to hear Great Britain doing well, but...
So, and it is, of course.
It depends. It's one of them. It depends. It's what sport you're interested in.
Yeah, there's so many crammed together. There is obviously a few very niche ones as well. Football part of this year, I can't remember if there. I don't think there is a Great British team because the Euros are happening, so it's kind of weird.
There only was a Great British team when it was in Britain. I think the women's might do, but it's to do with like the Scottish and Welsh and Irish FAs worried about potentially UEFA or FIFA revoking the rights to
it's all politics with football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Either way, though, Olympic Games is out now. It is $34.99, which is a little bit too steep for myself and probably a couple of you out there, but it's in there. It's got a couch co-op feature we should probably point out as well for Stadia. So the game uses a newer feature that we've not seen before on Stadia. I don't know if you've seen this, Richie, which essentially creates couch co-op play. So if you're in the same house, it enables people whose accounts aren't already set up on the device to join your game using their own profile by entering a code to confirm it's actually them. So there's a little screen. If you head over to Stadia Source, they have an article up on about it. It doesn't look too much different, but essentially they type the code in instead. So go check that out. One. Again, little tweaks of improvement coming up on that one. And final story for the week. Like I said, a little bit of a shorter episode this week. Assassin's Creed Valhalla made me smile, this one. It's basically the Irish Tourism Board has been using Assassin's Creed Valhalla and the new Wrath of the Druids DLC to essentially showcase places in and around Ireland.
Yeah.
Because again, the game looks beautiful, but seeing it side by side with the real life counterparts, places like the Giant's Causeway and stuff, is fantastic seeing. It does make me want to jump into the Valhalla DLC and go to Ireland, by the way. We'll head over there, Richie, one day. We'll get a pint. We'll go check out the beautiful countryside.
I forgot how beautiful that game is, actually. It's been since November since I've played.
Mm-hmm. So hashtag fill your heart with Ireland, according to the tourist board. But I just thought it was an interesting one to kind of use games. That we saw it with Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation, and Tsushima Island basically totally double down on tourism because of the success and the beauty of the game and what it was able to showcase to the world.
Kind of makes sense from these tourist boards, especially when we know how much effort Ubisoft put into making the games as accurate as they realistically can.
Yeah. And
then so why not use it?
It's not like GTA when it's doing a satire making fun of San Francisco or New York or somewhere like that. LA, not San Francisco.
In Valhalla, England was a little bit condensed. There again, you can't just make the whole of England into a game. Well, you probably could, but it'd be boring because it'd be just big empty gaps. Nothing happens in them.
You need the power of the cloud for that much information, Richie. One day. But that brings us to an end for our episode 92 of the Sounds of Stadia podcast. A little bit of a shorter one this week. Not for lack of trying, Richie. We scoured the internet for stories, but sometimes this happens. We will have, of course, another great episode lined up next week for you all, featuring your pro games for the month of July. Would you like to get any predictions in, Richie?
Oh, hello, engineer.
Ooh.
No, that's early access. I don't. I struggle to predict the pro games because sometimes you get like a Resident Evil, and other times you get like a Hello Neighbor. And often you get games that they've not even been announced. Sometimes.
Yeah, I do think after all the ratings we've had for all those kind of like DreamWorks, the Zorro game.
Yeah.
I think we're in line for me. Scrat's Nutty Adventure. I think we might be
Maybe
in line
like
with something.
America's Market could be due for a release as a pro.
Maybe. I'm going to ask that age-old question. Are we getting Ark Survival Evolved? Or had you totally forgot about it?
Yes. I forgot about it till just this moment. But I think, yeah. I think we could.
I think it's overdue. It's safe to say it's overdue. Oh, well... You've just remembered me, Richie. Let's have a look at the good old Mafia countdown. So, as you'll all remember out there, Mafia Definitive Edition came out on other platforms September 25th, 2020. The worst year for many of you, and me included. It's now been, at the time of recording, 274 days since it launched over there, and these Twitter accounts and Stadia are still yet to tell us where this game is at. It was showcased at a Connect. I'll just keep waiting, Richie, but as we said on last week's show, they can...
Patience is a virtue for a game that you're probably never going to play.
Yeah. That's exactly how I worded it. I should actually correct myself as well. I said they can go fuck themselves in the 1950s. It's actually the 1930s, so I just want to correct myself from a previous episode. Okay. Apologies for the mistake.
So Mafia devs, you can go fuck yourself in the 1930s.
I don't know if I explicitly said the devs. I just said the game itself can go fuck itself. Yeah. It's a bit harsh on the devs. They've still made a fun game. Sorry, devs. We like all of those. The game itself, which they've produced, can do that. For predictions for me, yeah, I think it's about time we get Ark. I'm honestly similar to Mafia. I'm just kind of like fed up of it at this point. I don't really care if we get Ark or not. We will play it, no doubt, but at the moment, I've now got Rainbow Six Siege to look forward to, Extraction. There's other things in the future. It's too drawn out to keep interest.
Is Ark confirmed to be? It is confirmed to be a Stadia Pro game, isn't it?
Yeah, they said coming to Pro.
All right, so my prediction is we jump in for maybe one or two streams, and that'll be my lot.
Unless it's super fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it might get hooks into it, but I'm expecting when it comes out, the closest Thursday, we'll jump. We'll have a stream of it, and then I'll probably never touch it again.
There we go. There it is, folks. And of course, shout out to all of our members here at Sounds of Stadia. Nearly 50 of you out there joining us every week. You get early access content from as well as 99p. You can support us a little bit more in bringing you better Stadia quality content. So if you do want to sign up, hit join below on the YouTube video. If you're listening on podcast services, we also appreciate you listening in with your magical ears out there too. Thank you for your time while you're out and about doing things. I know a lot of people listen to podcasts while they're on the move. I like to listen to a podcast, Richie, while I do my gardening sometimes. Like an old man, I'm sat out there doing the weeds, put my back out the other week, doing a bit of gardening.
I listen to a podcast while I'm at work because it's better than the radio.
It's better than the radio. And of course, you people, let us know the strangest place you listen to our podcast. Actually, you know what? That's a bad example. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't tell us where you listen. I don't want that thought in my mind. I'm sure there's some people. And if you do want to join the chat or the continued conversation, head over to our Discord. We have an amazing Discord with a bunch of our members, people from the Stadia community, and just general gamers. There are actually a few people in there, Richie, who don't even play Stadia. They just like talking about games. So hit the link in the description below. It's on the audio ones as well. We talk about games all week long, and not so much games, movies, and sometimes we branch out. But everyone, great group of people. Come and join us, will you please? Other than that, Richie, any final things for episode 92?
No, not really.
Just a low growl.
I've got my homework to do.
You do have your homework?
I've not sent any homework for the audience this week, so... Simon, you're off the hook this week.
Simon's off the hook this week. Of course, we also have SideQuest, which our members do get early. Do we have a topic for this week's show yet, Richie?
We have. So, some people may have noticed some games when they're getting ported from PS4 to PS5 or Xbox One to Xbox Series, they get a bit of a boost, a bit of an upgrade. Will Stadia get stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a great topic point, which I'd actually forgot we put in the doc. So yeah, there's been a lot of next-gen free upgrades. I think what sparked me is I checked out Jedi Fallen Order on PS5. That got a free upgrade. It stealthily dropped last week. Checked it out. Looks stunningly gorgeous. I want to know if Jedi Fallen Order on Stadia or future games coming out is getting those benefit boosts, like ray tracing stuff. So we'll go talk about that. Members get it up to 6 days early, remember. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Like, subscribe, follow, share. Hit us up on Twitter as well. Richie, what's your Twitter handle?
RichieC89.
RichieC89. Follow me at CyberChris2077. And, of course, go tweet Tom some love. Hashtag I miss you.
I miss you.
Just to confuse him on Monday when this podcast goes live. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
We've been 2/3 of Sounds of Stadia. Have a great week, everyone. Game on.